Costco has built its entire reputation on making you feel like you're winning every time you walk out those doors with a cart full of bulk deals. And for the most part, that reputation is earned. But when it comes to meat, and I say this as someone who has spent years shopping there and really paying attention, there are 5 specific items in that meat section that are quietly costing you more than you think. And I'm not just talking about the price per pound. I'm talking about quality problems, packaging tricks, and situations where what looks like a deal is actually the opposite. Some of these surprised me when I finally did the math, and I think they're going to surprise you too. We're counting down 5 meats you should stop buying at Costco, and the one at number 1 is probably the one sitting in your freezer right now. Before we get into it, if nobody's been straight with you about where your grocery money is actually going, that's what this channel is for. Go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And drop a comment right now. Which meat do you buy most at Costco? I'm genuinely curious, and I read every single comment that comes in. Number 5, pre-marinated meats. Let's kick things off with something that looks incredibly convenient, and that's exactly why it's on this list. Costco sells pre-marinated meats. Think their teriyaki chicken, their seasoned pork tenderloins, their marinated beef options. They look ready to cook, they smell great in the package, and they save you a step in the kitchen. That's the pitch. But what you're actually paying for when you buy pre-marinated meat is a significant amount of liquid, salt, and filler seasoning by weight. That marinade soaks into the meat, yes, but it also adds to the total weight you're being charged for. So when you see a price per pound on a marinated chicken package, that per pound rate includes the marinade itself. You are paying meat prices for water, sodium, and seasoning. And here's what that costs you in real terms. If you grab a 3-pound package of marinated chicken thighs and you're paying $6 a pound, you might be paying for close to half a pound of marinade liquid. That's $3 you've handed over for salt water. Do that every week for a year, and you've spent over $150 on seasoning you could have made yourself for pennies. I started making my own marinades a few years back. Nothing complicated, just olive oil, garlic, a little soy sauce, whatever spice I already had, and it took me about 5 minutes. The flavor was better, the price was a fraction of what I was paying, and I knew exactly what was going in it. My husband couldn't even tell the difference at first. Then he admitted it was actually better. Buy the plain protein at Costco, where the value genuinely is, and season it yourself. That's where the deal actually lives. Number 4, individual portion chicken breasts. Costco's boneless, skinless chicken breasts are one of the most popular items in the whole store. And in general, buying chicken in bulk there is a smart move. But, and this is where it gets interesting, the pre-portioned individually wrapped chicken breast packs are a different story. These are the packages where each breast is already separated, sometimes vacuum sealed in its own little sleeve, ready to pull out one at a time. They market it as convenience, and it is convenient. But that packaging costs money, and that cost gets passed to you. Per pound, those individually wrapped breasts run noticeably higher than the standard bulk pack sitting right next to them. The standard Costco chicken breast pack, the big tray with the breasts loose together, is consistently one of the better per pound values in the store. You take that home, spend 20 minutes portioning it out yourself into zip bags, and you've got the exact same convenience for a significantly lower price. I do this with my kids on a Sunday, and we knock it out fast. It's become part of our weekly routine. The gap between those two options can be anywhere from 50 cents to over $1 per pound, depending on your location and timing. On a 10-pound pack, that's $5 to $10 you didn't need to spend. Over a year, if you're buying chicken at Costco regularly, and who isn't, that adds up to real money back in your pocket just for doing one extra step yourself. So skip the pre-portioned packs. Get the bulk tray, portion it at home, and keep the savings. Number 3, ground beef. This one is going to be the most controversial thing I say in this entire video, so stay with me. Ground beef at Costco looks like a no-brainer. You're getting a large package, the price per pound seems fair, and beef prices everywhere are brutal right now, so any deal feels like a relief. But here's what I want you to actually look at next time you're standing in front of that case: the fat content. Costco sells their ground beef in an 80-20 blend. That means 80% lean meat and 20% fat. And 20% fat sounds fine until you think about what happens when you cook it. Fat renders out in pools in the bottom of the pan. It shrinks away in the pan or on the grill. So that pound of beef you bought isn't giving you a full pound of actual cooked meat. You're losing a meaningful chunk of it to grease that drains off into the pan. Now here's where the math turns against you. Your local grocery store, and this is especially true if you shop at a store with a real butcher counter, will often run ground beef sales that bring an 85-15 or even a 90-10 blend down to a price that competes directly with or beats what Costco charges for their 80-20. You're getting leaner meat, less shrinkage, more actual food per pound, and sometimes at a lower price per pound too. I started comparing receipts about 2 years ago, and I was genuinely caught off guard. I'd been assuming Costco was always the better call on beef. It isn't always the best deal. Not on ground beef and not consistently. The value depends on the week, your local store's sales cycle, and what blend you're actually comparing. The other issue with Costco ground beef is the package size itself. You're getting anywhere from 4 to 6 pounds at a time. If you don't have a plan to portion and freeze it the same day, you're risking waste. And wasted meat is the most expensive kind of grocery mistake you can make. A pound of ground beef that goes bad before you use it didn't cost you the price of that pound. It cost you the full package price because you already paid for all of it. If you've got a big family, a meal plan, and freezer space, Costco ground beef can work. But if you're buying it out of habit without checking what your local store has on sale that week, you're probably not getting the deal you think you are. Number 2, bacon. Bacon at Costco is one of those purchases that feels good every single time. It's Kirkland brand, it's a big package, the price looks reasonable at a glance. And I'm not here to tell you the bacon tastes bad because it doesn't. But I am going to tell you what most shoppers never bother to check: the yield. Costco sells their bacon in a large package, typically around 4 pounds, and the strips are cut thick. Thick-cut bacon shrinks significantly more during cooking than thin or regular cut strips. You start with what looks like a generous portion and you end up with something considerably smaller on the plate. Fat renders, moisture cooks off, and the strip itself tightens up. What you're left with per serving is less than it appears when you're looking at the raw package. Compare that to buying bacon on sale at a regular grocery store. Bacon goes on sale constantly. It is one of the most frequently discounted proteins in any store. When it's on sale, a name brand package or even a store brand will often come in at a lower per ounce price than the Costco package, especially factoring in that shrinkage difference. And here's the part that most people overlook entirely. Bacon has a relatively short refrigerator life once the package is open. 4 pounds of bacon is a lot of bacon to get through before quality starts to drop. If you're not cooking bacon daily, you either need to portion it into smaller freezer bags immediately, which again is a step that takes time, or you risk the quality degrading before you've used it all. My honest suggestion is to watch your regular store's weekly ad for bacon sales. Go ahead and stock up then. Buy 2 or 3 packages when the price is genuinely low and freeze them. You'll come out ahead of the Costco price, you'll have the right portion size for your household, and you won't be committing to 4 pounds at once every single time. Before we get to number 1, and this is the one that I think is going to genuinely catch people off guard, if this kind of content is useful to you, go ahead and hit subscribe and turn on notifications. There's a new video going up regularly and I don't want you to miss it. The one coming up next pairs really well with what we've already covered here, so stick around. Now, number 1 is next. Number 1 is next, and it is the meat that Costco does the absolute worst job of delivering real value on, relative to what you're actually paying and what you're actually getting home with. Number 1, fresh salmon. Costco's salmon gets talked about constantly. Food bloggers love it. Home cooks swear by it, and there's this general consensus online that it's the best deal in the whole store. And I understand why people feel that way. It looks beautiful in the case, the portions are generous, and compared to what you'd pay at a specialty seafood counter, the price seems almost too good. But that's exactly the problem. But in reality, it often seems just too good to be true. And when I actually started paying attention to what was happening between the store and my dinner table, I realized the value I thought I was getting was a lot thinner than the packaging made it appear. Fresh salmon at Costco comes in large sides. We're talking 3 to 4 pounds minimum, sometimes more. And the price per pound is genuinely competitive on its face. But fresh fish has the shortest usable window of almost any protein you can buy. You have roughly 2 days, maybe 3 if you're lucky, and your refrigerator is running cold to use it before the quality drops off sharply. After that, you're either eating fish that's past its prime or you're throwing money directly into the trash. So what happens in most households? People buy the big side, use part of it the first night, and then scramble to use the rest before it turns. They end up eating salmon 2 or 3 nights in a row, not because they planned it that way, but because they're racing the clock. And if something comes up, a busy evening, kids with activities, a night where nobody feels like cooking, that fish doesn't wait for you. I have actually done this myself. I bought a beautiful piece of Costco salmon on a Saturday thinking I had it all figured out, and by Tuesday I was throwing out nearly a pound of it because we just didn't get to it in time. After that, you're either eating fish that's past its prime or you're throwing money directly into the trash. That was an expensive mistake that looked like a smart purchase at the register. Now you can freeze it, and yes, that extends your window. But fresh salmon that gets frozen and then thawed loses a meaningful amount of its texture. The flesh gets softer, it releases more moisture when it cooks, and the eating experience is noticeably different from what you get with truly fresh fish. If you're going to freeze it anyway, you'd be better off buying individually frozen salmon portions from a store that flash freezes at peak freshness, because that process actually preserves the texture better than home freezing a fresh side ever will. And here's the other thing nobody wants to say out loud. The per pound price at Costco for salmon looks great until you factor in the waste. If you buy 4 pounds and realistically only use 2.5 before quality becomes a problem, you didn't pay the sticker price per pound. You paid the full package price divided by the amount you actually ate. Run that number and it's not the deal it looked like at all. Your local grocery store, especially one with a good fish counter, will sell you exactly the amount of salmon you need for that night's dinner. You pay a higher per pound price, yes, but you use every single ounce. No waste, no scrambling, no sad Tuesday fish. That's the actual better value for the overwhelming majority of households. If you have a large family and you're genuinely cooking salmon for 6 or 8 people in a single sitting, the Costco side makes sense. But if you're a household of 2, 3, or 4 people who eat fish occasionally, that big, beautiful side is working against you more than it's working for you. So there are your 5 pre-marinated meats, individually wrapped chicken breasts, ground beef, bacon, and fresh salmon. 5 items that look like smart bulk buys but are quietly eating into your grocery budget in ways that don't show up obviously at the register. What I want to know is this. Which one of these have you been buying without thinking twice about it? Drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely asking because I was doing at least 2 of these myself before I slowed down and did the math. And if this had you thinking about where else your grocery money might be quietly disappearing, I've got a video on that too. Check it out next. It covers the same kind of thing but across the whole store, not just the meat section, and I think it's going to change how you shop. Go put that savings to work. I will talk to you again very soon. Thank you for watching.